All right, so we're good. We have the distributive property. We're going to input. And of course, you can always guess that our language of the discipline word, probably for today, is going to be none other than the distributive property. So that is our one language of the discipline word. Distributive property. What does that mean? That means for every real number, A, B, C, etc. For every real number, A multiplied by B plus C is going to give us AB plus AC. And if we have A multiplied by B minus C, we will get AB minus AC. That's the definition of the distributive property. So I'm going to give you the steps to solve the problem. Steps to solve the problem. They are very simple. Okay, step one. Step one is to write a monomial. You might not always need to write it, but when you do the backwards distributive task, you will. So step one is to write a monomial. You'll see what that means when I give you some modeling. Step two. You're going to draw arrows from the outside numbers to the numbers inside the parentheses. You'll see what that means when I do it. It'll help you. You can choose to use it or not, but if you do it, you won't make a mistake. Step number 3 is to multiply following the arrows. Multiply following the arrows that you drew, which I will show you. Multiply following the arrows. Step 4 is to simplify. And always, always, always box your answer. So step 1, write the monomial, write the problem. 2, draw arrows. 3, multiply. 4, simplify. 5, box your answer. So you're going to write, draw arrows, multiply, simplify, box your answer. Simple, simple. Sounds like we're ready to model. Who's got moves today? 14. Who you? Our model's even our tech guy. Come on down. Everyone clap for him. Give him some courage. Wow, be enthusiastic. On the count of three, everyone count modeling. 1, 2, 3. Say it.
Modeling.
And give him the modeling claps. Yes. Strike a pose. You can just hold the glasses since you have glasses on. Very good. Walk down the runway. Clap for him. All right. We got our model. He's even smiling. Woo! Thank you, sir. He was so enthusiastic, don't you think? Someone's got to do it. All right. So we're going to model the steps on how to solve this problem. Here we go. Moving along. Okay. Too close. All right. Number 1. Okay. 2 times the quantity of x plus 6. Now the monomial in this problem is already written for us, so that is step 1. If everyone is writing with me, I don't care if you know how to do this or not. The monomial is written for you. Now, what I mean by draw arrows is this. Step 2, I am going to draw an arrow from the outside number to the inside number, and from the outside number to the other inside number. That's going to tell me the numbers I am going to multiply. So then I think to myself, okay, I'm going to follow the arrows. 2 times x is my first one. 2 times x plus, follow the next arrow, 2 times 6. Does everyone see why I draw the arrows now? It tells you where to multiply. So I follow the first arrow, 2 times 8x. Put the plus sign down there, then 2 times 6. So then all I have to do is simplify. 2 times x is 2x. Keep my plus sign. 2 times 6 is 12. That was step 4, I just simplified. And of course, step 5 for me is to box my handy answer. So if you draw arrows from the outside number in, you'll know what you need to multiply by. So again, I multiply 2 times 6 plus, 2 times x plus 2 times 6. Pencil up when you're there. Beautiful. Here's question 2. -3 times 5c minus 7. This monomial is already written for us as well. They just put that 3 in the parentheses. It means the same thing as just having the 2 outside the parentheses in the problem before. Okay? So I have -3 times 5c minus 7. I draw my handy dandy arrows. -3 times 5c and -3 times 7. It tells me what to multiply by. We're all writing. So then when I write it out, I have, all the arrows. -3 times 5c. It's my first one. Then it's a subtraction problem. And then I have -3 times 7 when I follow the arrow. This sign right here is what went there. You have to be careful when it's a negative. Okay? So then I solve. -3 times 5c is -15c. Oh, wait a minute. 2 negatives are next to each other. They like each other, so they're positive. So that becomes a plus sign. 3 times 7 is 21. Does everyone see how these guys right here became a positive sign. There's two negatives next to each other. And then I just box my answer. So remember, two negatives next to each other, they're positive. Now you're going to get the next problem, that's the backwards distributive property, where you have to figure out how to separate the number in the parentheses. We'll see what I mean in a second. Number 3. And you learned this in 5th grade, I believe. 34 times 102. Now the reason people learn the distributive property is so you can multiply big numbers without having to literally write it down and physically multiply it out. You can do it this way. So, step 1 says to write the monomial. This time you have to do it. So now it's going to be 34 times, how can I break up 102? I know, 100 plus 2. Because 100 plus 2 is 102, right? So again, you have to create the monomial. So my easiest way of breaking up 102 is 100 plus 2. Now I can repeat what I did before. I'm going to draw my arrows. So I know it's going to be 34 times 100 plus 34 times 2. So I have 34 times 100. That's my first arrow that I followed. 34 times 100. It's a plus sign. That's what's here. And I follow my other arrow. 34 times 2. So now I have 34 times 100, which is 3,400, plus 34 times 2, which I know is 68. So I know that 34 times 102 is 3,468. So again, the reasoning for the distributive property is so you can multiply bigger numbers without having to physically put it on your paper and multiply it out and borrow and carry and all that fun stuff. You can break it up into a monomial and do multiplication separately. You can come up with the answer quickly. Does that make sense? Yes. Thank you for answering me. 2 more. Number 4. You're going to have to distribute with something that has a negative outside of the parentheses. You're going to have to distribute a negative sign, which is fine because it has an invisible 1. I'll show you. So you have negative in the parentheses 6x plus 4. You're going to have to distribute the negative sign. So in front of that negative sign is Mr. Invisible 1. So I'm going to rewrite the problem. Negative 1, 6x plus 4. The invisible 1 is right there on the outside of the parentheses with that negative sign. Good? It's called the multiplication property of negative 1. It's a really good property. Okay, so then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to draw my arrows. Negative 1 times 6x, negative 1 times 4. So then I write it. Negative 1 times 6x, I bring down my plus sign, times negative 1 on the outside, times 4. Okay, so then I can multiply. Negative 1 times 6x is going to be a negative 6x, because I know a negative times a positive is a negative. I'm going to bring down my plus sign, and then, negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. I'm not done yet, because there's 2 things next to each other that need to be fixed. So this is negative 6x. I have plus and my minus sign. Not like each other. One person likes the other person more. So they're not going to end up being in a relationship. Negative. Okay. That's how you distribute a negative sign. Then you box your answer. I know, it's so hard. But I know the next one is your favorite because you love to distribute fractions. Woo! I'm the only one excited? That's so fun, guys. So you have 2/3 times 6h minus 1. Now you might think, fractions. It's the easiest type of fraction you can do because it's multiplication. When you multiply fractions, you multiply straight across. You don't have to have a common denominator. So we're doing it the easiest way possible. So again, I'm going to draw my handy dandy arrows. I'm going to rewrite the problem so you can see. So I'm going to multiply 2/3 times 6h and also 2/3 by -1. So when I rewrite the problem out, I'm going to have 2/3 times 6h. Now what is below that 6 that's invisible that I can write in? 6 over what? 1, exactly. And I have my subtraction sign. And then I have 2/3 times -1. And what can I put that -1 over? 1. Because whole numbers can be over 1. So now this is easy. It's cinchy. 2 times 6 is 12, so I have 12h on the top. And 3 times 1 is 3. Break down my subtraction sign. 2 times a -1 is -2. And 3 times 1 is 3. Can this be simplified? Yes, it can. 12 divided by 3 is 4, so I know that's going to be 4h. Everyone's still with me. Now, what do I do here? Did I make a mistake? I did. Yes. Oops. Thank you. All right. So then that is minus 2/3. Box your answer. Thank you. So the multiplying of it is not hard. You just have to multiply straight across. Are we good? It's easy. You can stop the recording, sir. Tonight's homework is going to be fast. All right, check your